I'm Roisin Levine. I'm head of UKI European Partnerships at Wise Platform. Welcome to our mini-series, How We're Fixing. We'll be talking to leaders across the fintech and finance space about the problems they're solving for customers. Today, I'm absolutely delighted to welcome to the podcast Michael Green, GM of Partnerships at Xero. Michael, thank you so much for coming on and joining with us. Please tell us a little bit about what your role entails.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you, Roisin, and thank you to the Wise team for having me along. So, as you mentioned, I'm GM of Partnerships at Xero. I head up partnerships for Xero in the UK and EMEA. And I think when we talk about partnerships at Xero, we really break it down into four big buckets, three of which my team looks after. So the first big bucket is our accounting and bookkeeping partners. My team doesn't look after them, but they are pivotal to everything we do, and we kind of look at them as a channel partner. So we realized pretty early on that we could reach far more small businesses if we worked with and through accountants. And so that's why we're such close partners with them today. But in terms of what my team covers, we really break it down into three buckets. The first is what we would call our integrated or connected apps. These are partners that have built an integration to the Xero platform, sit in our app store, and provide value-add services to our customers on top of the ledger. So we have partners across a wide array of areas in this space. So bread and butter, tax, accounting, reporting space. There's workforce management, HR, CRM, and the list goes on and on. The second big bucket that my team looks after are our banking partnerships or our banking integrations. So we have had really great partnerships with banks from day one, realizing that bank feeds, for us, what we call bank feeds internally, or the ability to get bank transaction data from a bank into a Xero subscription for fast and effective reconciliation. And so our customers can get a real-time view of their cash position is really important. So obviously open banking was massive in this space. My team was really heavily involved in that. And then the third big bucket are what we call kind of our financial services partners. And so as a team, we look after them, and they cover, again, three key areas, the rule of three. The first is what we would call collecting payments. So providing our customers with the ability to collect payments on invoices that they send out through Xero. The second is making payments. So the ability to be able to make payments on bills or payroll or tax. And then the third area is enabling small businesses to get access to capital. So they're kind of the three big areas we look after. Partnerships is a really exciting space to be in, especially in technology, especially for Xero. We have a bit of a philosophy that 1 + 1 = 3. And so we know that by bringing the right partners on board and working together to meet the needs of a small business, we can provide a better platform that's simple, seamless, and smart.
Amazing. Okay, sounds great. I mean, you mentioned quite a few features there that Xero accounting software can provide to SMEs. What was the kind of main problem, I guess, when Xero originated that you were trying to fix ultimately?
Yeah, absolutely. So I guess going back to the start, the origin story, if you will, we started in 2006, founded by a guy called Rod Drury. It's a really great story, actually. Rod was heading over the hill, and I don't know if any of you have been to Wellington, New Zealand, but heading over the hill to the Wairarapa, and he was going to see his accountant, Hamish Edwards, who's another co-founder of Xero. He was carrying a shoebox of invoices, bills, receipts, and realized that there had to be a better way. And so he really had a vision of bringing accounting software to the cloud. So we started as a cloud native company at a time where most of our competitors were offering desktop solutions, so installed on your computer, if you can remember those days. And so that's kind of how we started. We were really focused on accounting software, but over time we've started to expand that, and we kind of consider ourselves now a small business financial management platform. We recognize that in this digital age, the needs of small businesses are far more than just the compliance tool or the accounting software. So if you're in retail, you need a point of sale system. If you are in hospitality, you might need time attendance and scheduling software. Some small businesses need a CRM. Yeah. So it's all about providing them with those tools that meet their needs. And so our goal, I guess, or our vision and our purpose is to make life better for small businesses and their advisors. And we know that small businesses are a huge part of the economy, both here in the UK and globally. Some stats to rattle off for you. There's something like 5.6 million small businesses in the UK, making up around 50% of GDP. And they've typically been in a segment that's been really underserved by technology. Yep. And so we also know that small businesses don't necessarily get into business to do the books, do the finances, manage those operational aspects of their business. they get into business because they have a passion to provide a good or service that they think others want or need. And so those operational aspects typically play second fiddle, and that's really where we step in. So we want to provide them with the right tools that they can use to manage those operational aspects of their business with their advisor, so that they can get time back to spend on the things that they love, whether that's growing their business or spending time with family. And that's really what it's all about for us. We think technology can really enable small businesses to be successful. We obviously have just been through the pandemic, and we did some research that showed small businesses that we surveyed that had integrated technology into a business grew their sales by something like 4.5%, while those that didn't integrate any technology into a business saw a decline of around 3.5%. So I think that kind of demonstrates that there is this huge opportunity to serve a thriving small business economy, and that's what gets us out of bed in the morning and is the problem we're trying to fix.
Yeah, it makes sense. And I guess with 3 million plus users globally, it's obviously going very well. So clearly a successful company in that regard. I know that you also try to help advisors like accountants, I guess, take some of the kind of more manual tasks away from them as well, so they can do some of the more value-added things. So not just the business owner maybe doing things they enjoy, but hopefully as well their advisor getting to kind of add to their kind of skill set as well, rather than just doing, let's say, I don't know, the more manual kind of administrative task of helping a small business. I can see you've got an integration for kind of advanced analytics, or a part of your kind of product that has that feature. Can you talk us a little bit about that and why that's important to businesses and their accountants?
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, you kind of hit the nail on the head there. As I mentioned earlier, accountants and bookkeepers are critical to everything that we do. And so when we are developing products, we are thinking about the accountant and bookkeeper and how they can serve the small business. When it comes to, I guess, thinking about the products that we want to bring to market, we kind of go back to trying to identify and solve for an unmet need with our kind of purpose in mind, which is to make life easier for small businesses and their advisors. And so that can mean different things across different areas of the business. So you mentioned analytics. So in analytics, for example, we want to make sure that small businesses and their advisors can see future cash flows so that they can understand the health of their business and make decisions today that are right for their business in the future. In other areas, so for example, invoicing and payments, we want to help small businesses get paid on time, reduce time spent chasing late or failed payments, save them time from having to manually code in payments. And the list goes on, but it's always that kind of goal of trying to make their life easier and the lives of their advisors easier that links everything together. So I think that's kind of that on the product side, but I think it's also worth mentioning, we know that, and we firmly believe that there's never going to be like a single product or a single tool that'll meet the needs of every single small business. And that's why we also have such a focus on our ecosystem and growing our ecosystem and making sure that we have apps in our ecosystem that can fill gaps that we don't necessarily provide in our product.
Awesome. And talk about that. So you think you've got over 1,000 apps that are available on the marketplace at the moment that people can go and basically choose and say, right, this one's right for me. How did that happen? 1,000 is a very impressive number. Talk us about the kind of strategy there.
Yeah, it's a big number, and I think sometimes that can be good and bad. When people are trying to find the right app for their business and there's 1,000, that can be a bit tough. So I think that puts the onus on us to make sure that we're really clear about what are the right tools for the various types of businesses. But yeah, so I guess our strategy was pretty simple. From day one, we were an open platform. We had an open API, and we designed that so developers or accountants or bookkeepers or really anyone who wanted to could build on top of the ledger of the core compliance software. And that's really set the foundation for the partnerships that we have today.
And how do you ensure that, I guess, you surface the right ones? You mentioned there 1,000 can be quite a lot for maybe a business owner or an advisor to look at. Is there any potential way that you kind of say, right, these are the ones that are right for you, or you kind of prioritise which one do you think that they should see first or anything like that? Yeah,
so we've recently migrated to like our app store, and a key part of that migration is ensuring that we really work on our search functionality. So we know what the small business is, what they're looking for, and we're surfacing up the right apps. We have things like staff picks, we have ratings and reviews. So it's a challenge, but it's a challenge that we lean into, and that a fun place to be.
Got you. And I guess one of the key things as well is making sure that data is safe and secure. So when people use those third-party integrations, they feel like it's trusted and reliable. Are there certain things that you do as a business to always make sure that's the case for I guess, customers?
Yeah, absolutely. It's super critical to everything that we do. So what I forgot to mention around scale, one of the ways that we have scaled so fast is that we have put a lot of effort into our developer center.
Yep.
And so that's where developers who want to build an integration can go. And in that developer center, they can find the right information about our APIs and how to start building to them. And we've tried to make it as programmatic as possible so they can see what our technical and security requirements are, how to build the integration and get started without individual contact, which we know can be a bit of a bottleneck and slow things down. But that said, so developers can get going really fast, but there is a certification process that happens, and that goes through our internal partner integrations team. And they will look at an app and check that it's kind of roadworthy, that it meets the needs of a small business, that it's a quality app, that it adheres to our technical and security requirements. And also we have our responsible data use commitments that we ask our partners to sign up to.
Great.
So there's a kind of balancing of trying to allow developers and companies to build an integration and get it to market quickly.
Yep.
But balancing that, I guess, against ensuring that our small business customers have access to quality apps through the ecosystem that are road tested and secure. That's
awesome. I like the kind of self-serve element of that initially, where someone can kind of come and actually understand the standard of what you're looking for in integration. We at Wise Platform do lots of different integrations with banks, with accounting software, bill pay companies, and I think so much of it can be helped by good API documentation, good developer resources, explanation of what we expect down that journey of integration up front, so there's no kind of confusion or extra challenges.
Totally. I remember being at Xero one time where our founder, Roger, he drew two mountains. He drew a small mountain and a big mountain, and between that he put automation.
Right.
That's how you scale, right? Yeah. You find ways to make repeatable tasks more automated. And so we're always looking to do that as a business.
Well, with 1,000+ integrations, you've clearly managed that scale, so pretty much amazing. Well done. We love the multi-currency, obviously, approach to accounting that you guys have. Can you talk to us a little bit about why that's important for your customers? Why is that something that may be needed more than ever at the moment?
Yeah, it's a good question. And look, I knew you guys would be quite interested in that aspect of the business. I'm honestly, I'm not going to sit here and pretend to be an accounting expert, but I do know it's a feature that our customers love, and we've had feedback that it's a product that our customers love. Effectively, it allows small businesses to reconcile foreign currency transactions, view gains and losses across them, and even report a multi-currency where they have a need to do so. So where they're providing a service outside of the area in which they operate. We built that simply because we can see that there's a segment of our business or a segment of our customers that have global reach. And so therefore they have exposure to foreign currency fluctuations, which can impact their cash flow. And therefore providing them with a multi-currency tool is just kind of a step towards helping them have a more frictionless finance experience.
Got you. I mean, very much the same philosophy with Wise, where we see kind of SMEs becoming more global businesses. Ultimately, people often paying freelancers abroad or payroll of different staff, or potentially just working with suppliers internationally. So I guess this is becoming something that's a growing need, I'm assuming, from SMEs and maybe larger businesses as they've usually done these things.
Yeah, absolutely.
So obviously Wise and Xero, close partners in the payment space. Tell us a bit about why payments are so important to Xero.
Yeah, so first of all, we love working with Wise. I think we have similar values as a company in that we like to put the customer first and solve problems for the customer. But on the payment side for Xero, it's pretty simple, right? In the accounting workflows, there are a number of areas where that ends in a payment. So we have identified that as a need, and the more that we can bring that into our platform, the more seamless that's going to make the experience for customers. And so we really break payments down into two key areas, which I talked about earlier. The first is collecting payments. So we kind of identified this need for our small businesses customers to be able to collect payments on their invoices in a really seamless and secure way. And that led to the creation of what's called the Pay Now button that you might see on a Xero invoice. If you get that sent out. And powering that Pay Now button are partnerships that we have with a number of payments providers that provide our customers with choice in how they want to collect payment. So, for example, if you want to collect payment from your customer via card, you can use our integrated Stripe solution. If you have a more regular or recurring relationship with your customer, you can collect payment via direct debit using our integrated Go Cardless solution. We also announced at our conference last month a new way to collect payment called Instant Bank Pay, which is from Go Cardless, which will enable our customers to collect one-off payments using open banking, so an account-to-account payment, rather than adding their bank account details to the notes section of an invoice and expecting a customer to sign out, manually code in the bank details, plug in the amount and pay it that way, which obviously creates a huge amount of friction. So we've been trying to solve for that in a really secure way. That's kind of the collecting payment side. And then on the making payment side, we did a bit of research a while ago that revealed a number of our partners want to be able to, and customers want to be able to make payments from within Xero, particularly batch payments.
Yep.
And so that's why we partnered with Wise to bring the Xero Pay with Wise product to market, effectively enabling our customers to make batch payments without needing a payment file and uploading that into their internet banking. So that's kind of payments in a nutshell for us. It's a really interesting area, really exciting area, and I think an area where we can continue to simplify and streamline the experience for our customers. And so it's always something that we're looking to enhance.
And I guess this idea of getting paid is such a challenge for so many SMEs. We often hear stats in the news about how it takes a long time. Suppliers can sometimes be shortfall in terms of when they pay their SME clients, and this really costs them in terms of cash flow and all the things you mentioned about what they're looking at forecast-wise. So I guess it's really key if they can make that really simple for the customer to pay them ultimately on time.
Absolutely. That's like a huge driver for us. So we release monthly something called our Small Business Insights.
Yep.
We look at aggregated and anonymized data across our customer base, and we pull out key stats around different things, including the economy. And one of those is payment days. And we can see through that the days small businesses are waiting to get paid is increasing. So there is a real late payments problem in the UK, and it mostly impacts small businesses.
Yeah.
We can also see, and this is a really interesting stat, that by allowing our customers to attach a payment option to their invoice, so that Pay Now button, they get paid faster than those who don't add a Pay Now button or a payment option to their invoice. We've done some research that shows up to twice as fast.
Wow, okay, that's a pretty good improvement there.
Yeah, it's a huge improvement. And so again, like this is why we see it as such a critical area. If we can enable our small businesses to get paid on time, I guess we can help the small business economy be more healthy.
Yeah, 100%. I guess if they can get paid on time, then they don't have to go out to get a business loan for any reason because they've got that cash flow shortage and it helps them grow and things like that. So super important. So amazing gap that you've managed to kind of fill with that. Are there any other gaps that you see kind of left yet that you'd like to fill either by developing your own product or maybe an integration, anything that's kind of on the next step kind of list for Xero?
Yeah, it's a really hard question to answer. I think you'll probably know this at Wise as well, that as your business expands, so do the number of opportunities which you can attack. And as with every company, we have limited resource with which to attack it.
Yeah.
And that's where, for me, strategy and decision-making becomes critically important. For me, strategy is as much about choosing what to do as it is about choosing what not to do and where not to focus your resources. So we're pretty critical at the moment on where we are going to focus our resources because we just have so many opportunities.
Yeah.
But a couple of interesting things, I guess. We announced the launch of our mobile-only Xero Go product, which is a mobile-only product for sole traders to enable them to manage their finances. Again, underserved market. And we know that with MTD, the next phases of MTD coming, that there will be a requirement for sole traders to start using some kind of technology. So we've released that in iOS, we will be releasing it in Android, and we'll be looking to build out the features of that product as we go. On top of that, there's so many areas for us to continue to enhance our product for small businesses, but also the ABs, for employing businesses, so businesses that employ people have specific and bespoke needs, and also to just grow our ecosystem of app partners. Also, FS is interesting for us, right? And I think one area that we haven't touched on is the ability for small businesses to get access to capital. So I think I mentioned the 5.6 million small businesses, 50% of GDP, but most of them struggle to get access to finance when they need it.
Yep.
Something like a $20 billion unmet financing need across the small business market. And so whatever we can do to help solve some of that problem for small businesses is what we want to focus on. And so we already have a number of lending integrations with the likes of iWalker and NatWest, Market Finance, etc., that enable small businesses to use their Xero data to apply for finance. So it helps to resolve some of that friction of filling out forms, etc. And so we'll continue to look for ways where we can streamline that. But I think ultimately, we all know in the current economic and geopolitical climate, the next 12 to 18 months are going to be quite difficult, especially for small businesses. So whatever it is that we do decide to do will certainly be with them in mind, and a focus on and an endeavour to make their life easier.
Yep, amazing. And I think that's so interesting about the kind of access to capital, because we hear time and time again small businesses complaining, saying it can take a very long time to apply for a loan. Whereas if you've got all that data already there, you're the place they go anyway, and they understand that's where all their finances sit, then they can, I guess you can pull that in and help lenders make decisions a bit faster and access that, hopefully to grow and hopefully get through the kind of economic climate we see ourselves in. Michael, thank you so much for joining us. We're obviously huge proud partners of Xero, and it's been a pleasure chatting to you today.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. It's been really great.